Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome aboard the Max Afterburner podcast, sponsored, powered by the No Fallen Heroes universe. Speaking of the universe, in the studio, I have my beautiful partner in crime, Miss Nicole. Kelly Nicole Fox, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
You're good. This is third time's the charm in the studio on the podcast.
That's right.
Before we jumped on the air, she's like, these don't get any easier. So buckle up, Buttercup. How are you? Everything good?
Doing good, yeah.
You look great. You always look great. Love the hair. Got the merch on. Got the Maverick Mind representing the colors. Dragged you, literally, as I often have to do, into the studio because we have to debrief. Right? In a fighter squadron, we debrief every mission. And it's interesting because up on the whiteboard, when we come back from a mission, we put goods and others. We don't put bad because there isn't really any bad, right? Because anything that you would consider bad, we're going to debrief and we're going to make sure that doesn't happen again. So we call them goods and others. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to debrief some goods, and there's a lot. And then if there's any others, anything we can be doing for 2024, we're going to debrief that as well. So before we start our debrief, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you do for our veterans, our first responders, their families. We're starting to help a lot more family people. You give your heart and soul to this. So thank you for everything you do. It means the world to me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing, Whiz.
Yeah.
So grateful for you, and I'm honored to do this work.
Awesome. Lay some of when you look back to last year, 2023, what makes your heart smile about what we are doing or you've done or our folks are doing?
Everything.
Exactly.
Everything. There's not a thing that our foundation isn't doing that's not lighting me up right now. From you, really, it's beginning with you, by the way. One of the things I'm so grateful for is you, your transparency and your vulnerability, because that's what people respond to.
No, I appreciate that.
That's what's bringing people here. I'm reading the emails, the Instagram messages on our intake forms.
Mm-hmm.
You're resonating with so many people and touching so many hearts. And,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Making it a lot easier for others to come forward. So everything from the intake process to getting to read about all of these different beautiful souls that are ready to evolve, to grow, to learn more about themselves, to heal, to working with them, preparing them, and even observing these groups, how they organically come together, to going on these retreats, to seeing them shift and change, the changes that we see just in their eyes, but their energy, their voice changes.
Over a couple
everything.
days,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
And then when they come home, watching them integrate that, and then it's like we're just this family, and we're all still connected in many ways. It's a nice tight knit squadron. It's so funny how, and it was a 9 Perfect Stranger, how you can literally show up at one of these retreats as a stranger and leave with best friends for the rest of your life. Marcus Luttrell called me yesterday. Just checking in, Whiz. You doing good? I mean, that was 4 years ago, right? And it's funny. I know you didn't listen to Chicken's podcast yet, but he's like, Whiz, I went in the door at Columbine. I've gone in the fires. I've gone to shootings. I drove past that Do Good Ranch driveway a couple times because my hands were shaking. I was sweaty and I was petrified. He said he pulled into a driveway like down the road and he's like, I'm not going to do it. And then he pulled down the driveway and he did it. So it's so cool. So year in review, I don't know if you have the exact numbers. How many grants, what makes you smile from last year? How do we do? We gave out over 30 healing grants.
That's
to veterans
fantastic.
And first responders and family.
Wow. And that's our first year, technically.
Right, yeah.
That's pretty good. So 30 healing grants. We did Costa Rica, So we did a couple Costa Ricas. And the first, I don't get my Costa Ricas backwards. First 2 female air crew and fighter pilots to sit with the medicine. Talk to us about how when a lot of people think of vets, it's like either tough men or, there's not that many women. We helped a lot of women this year, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, we did. So you're speaking of Kristen, Rosie, Dr.
And
Barnes. Aaron,
Arrow.
Yeah. 2 amazing, strong, incredibly brave women that I've watched to move on to even bigger, better things, putting the ladder down for others as well.
Rosie being our chief medical officer. She's pitching in the fight in Arrow as well. And then our next Costa Rica, we also had some female veterans, and we had some female dependents, some family, spouse, right?
We did, right.
Yep.
Yeah, we've had mixed groups.
So Costa Rica. And then in October, we hit one of our big milestones. One of our mission objectives is to start healing our heroes at home. Talk to us through a little bit about Colorado and that group.
So each retreat that we go on, each space is so uniquely beautiful and holds a different, very special kind of power. When I had that opportunity to go visit Do Good Ranch, I could
you went in September, right?
Correct. Yeah. I went to September to check it out and to also go through the experience. I wanted to actually even do the particular strain that that our participants would be doing, do a little test drive. And the power that the space that Jeremy holds, it's the most beautiful type of grounding, and he brings a lot of awareness and consciousness to the group, and then to be able to bring others to experience that, and with you as well.
Yeah,
that was really powerful. And I loved how even watching the whole retreat unfold. I mean, when we got there, it was hot.
We were wearing shorts.
Right.
It was hot.
Right. And then it got a little colder. We left. We had snow.
We got snow.
Right. But
a lot of snow, and then it melted.
Yeah,
and it was back to hot. We got the 4 seasons in a weekend.
But how the sky opened up for us that night of the ceremony.
I will never forget that.
Offered that up. Whatever your will is, we'll go inside, we'll be outside, but the sky opened up. We were able to get the fire going, and
the moon. And then it started to rain a little bit, a cleansing rain, right on time.
At the very end, right. Just as it's time to go inside.
As we were all kind of getting a little reborn. So folks, just a quick reminder. So Miss Nicole, me, we don't send anybody anywhere to do anything that we don't do. You and I personally go, we sign off on it, and we don't even play secret shopper. We're in it. We're a participant. So you and I went out to the Do Good Ranch. You went before me because ladies first, and she didn't die. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So great year on those retreats. We also legislative. I did a couple Whiz Goes to Washington's, some walk in the halls of Congress, got to meet Morgan Luttrell, obviously Marcus's brother, Navy SEAL, who sat with the medicine. And I love, it's like their mom hiccuped. They're twins, and they're like, I'm like, he's like, Whiz, man, that shit kicked my ass, man. But it worked, and I'm gonna push for this. Working hand in hand with Melissa at the Psychedelic Medicine Coalition. But you know me, DC's a little draining to me. A lot of people like to get dressed nice and do a lot of dinners and stuff, and there's time for that, but it drains me a little bit going to Washington, especially this year, meeting with congressman that shall remain nameless. When I'm like, dude, for the 31 Abrams tanks you're sending to Ukraine, you could heal. Oh, don't talk like that to a money guy in Congress. I'm like, dude, are you fucking? So, not I'd put that in the other category, but we went to DC a lot. And then some of the conferences. Psychedelic science. Talk to us about Denver, man. And how'd we do in Denver as a foundation and everything? That was fun.
Wow, what an experience. I felt honored to be a part of that. I think that was the first conference where I could feel this magnitude of this, call it psychedelic renaissance.
Yeah, a shift.
Hearing, right, a shift and awareness that's taking place, that destigmatization of this, like where people are opening their minds.
Well, it's
so to be able to be a part of that was really great. Yeah. But then with all of the seminars and everything, I mean, there were at least 5 that I wanted to be at every,
same time,
right? Every time slot, and so you really had to pick and choose what was going to serve our purpose.
Having governors, Rick Perry, Republican, what's his name? Polis or whatever from Colorado, Democrat, having politicians there, Aaron Rodgers there. I'm walking around in a flight suit and there's hippies. I mean, it doesn't get any, there's first responders, Chicken's like, I don't go, who's this guy in a flight suit at this veterans dinner? And short story long, he gets in the car on the way home and calls his wife and says, I'm doing this, so what an incredible gathering of people. And you could feel the shift from politicians, veterans, athletes, first responders, hippies, all aligned to the same mission. It's pretty cool. It was palpable. You can feel I believe in the good things coming.
Absolutely. With No Fallen Heroes sponsoring the Veterans Dinner.
Yeah, we did.
That was really special. And then for you to share your story on stage and to look around and to see there were very few dry eyes in that moment. I mean, you touched so many hearts. And it was after that we started hearing from even more and more people, which gets us to that long wait list.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll get to that. That's a good and another. We'll put that in the middle of our list. Wrapping up towards the end of the year down in Miami. And what did we get?
Going to Miami.
Whiz, we loved your last hit. What happened in Miami?
What happened in Miami was we received the nonprofit of the year, which was just what a great surprise.
That was pretty cool.
I was not expecting that.
Nope. Was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Honored, humbled.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was good to go down there. General Zanakis. Love General Zanakis. Got to meet some cool people. Just flew out of my head. The Being True to You lady. She's awesome. I loved it. A little smaller than Psychedelic Science, obviously, but it's even on a smaller scale, you feel the goodness of people and people leading with their hearts and their truth. I love it. I love all. I'd rather do that stuff than go to Washington. So to try and keep me going to those things. So conferences, DC, we got all the grants. We did our retreats. Any others? Anything we can do better for 2024? What do you think we need to work on and adjust our future picture?
So for me personally, I would like to see, and we're working on this, is the whole intake process, because right now we have a wait list that's accruing. And so even
which is a good thing,
maintaining that communicate, like I don't want any of these amazing souls to get lost in this process. They take the time to submit these forms and they're willing to get vulnerable and be truthful about the trauma, the pain that they've experienced. Yeah. And then they know, they'll hear from us after a while, but still time goes by. We can't help everyone at once. And so I'm just really grateful for everyone's patience. But
good. And remember, folks, it's kind of first come, first serve, right, Nicole? We have people who are kind of, so I get the excitement. Somebody's like, oh, I heard your podcast, or I found out about this, and I just filled out the grant request. It's like, man, if we had unlimited funds, we do a healing retreat in the state of Colorado, the entire state, and let's clear our list in one day. But we're kind of funding limited, which I'm working on every day, folks. So if you do submit a healing grant request, just know we got it, and we're going to get to you as soon as we can, right?
And to please trust the process.
True.
To see how these groups come together. If you're not a part of a group yet, or you haven't been sent on that retreat yet, perhaps it's not your time yet.
There you go.
We start the process. We start doing the work. We start preparing ourselves now as best as we can. And when it's time, it will happen. I
got to tell you, filling out that grant request form, folks, is courage. It's courageous. You are saying, you know what? I need to put the mask on myself. I need some help. So good on you for doing that. In the interim, before we get you on a retreat or anything like that, we're going to work on giving you some homework, whether it's listening to, some like podcast episode 7, my first one, or watching How to Change Your Mind on Netflix. You can binge watch 4 hours, or reading The Immortality Key or stuff. So we're going to do a better job of giving you a little bit of homework to do, because this isn't, hey, you're going on this retreat and we'll meet you in Colorado. You talk us through when we do say, you know what, we are going to do a retreat. Talk us through you go to your Excel sheet or whatever and say, I'm going to start calling these people. Take us from your intake sheet to, I'll see you at the retreat. Talk to us about some of your pre-flight calls and stuff too, because it's work. This is work.
Yes. Well, I want to go back to the intake process. Something else I want to start doing is even just sending out some links. All right, here's some breath work, but we can all Google these things too, but it's not easy when you're just starting off. I get it. But even good something point. As simple as that, because that's one of the first things we also start to go over is breath work leading into these ceremonies, because that comes in very handy when you can regulate your nervous system, but not just that, also feel that expansion of the heart and allow yourself to open up just a little more to something beyond our understanding. So all of that, from the first call, I'll end up telling you to get a journal, of course. I want you to start getting to know yourself just a little more, asking some of the questions that you feel like you need some answers to. They're usually in the heart, and the questions are different for everyone. But a lot of times a phone call helps us identify some of those key questions. And then from there, dipping into the heart, being able to sit with whatever it is that we're experiencing, what we're feeling, no matter how uncomfortable it is. And a lot of the breath work comes in with that. Okay. To help regulate the nervous system and to be able to be with that. Meditation, simple meditations to more complex meditations. And to books that we can read. We talk about whatever and there's a whole long list of recommended reading, but that can even be very tailored to just whatever resonates with them and their specific needs based on what we go over.
So that's what you do. Your job is to meet each person individually and say, let me see you. Yeah. And then I'll kind of tailor your flight plan, so to speak.
Absolutely.
How many calls do you do before somebody heads to go do the medicine?
So we do at least 3, but it could be anywhere up to...
Just depending.
Right. Yeah. It could be anywhere up to 5 or 6. Okay. It's probably actually closer to 4, but it varies. Sure. Because things can come up and sometimes whatever that reason may be.
You know, it's one of my favorite things now is to ask people about that phone call, like Brett or Chicken. What's his name? He was like, I was on the beach in Coronado when Nicole called, type of thing. So it's awesome. After they sit with the medicine, they start looking back on things and like, one of the life-changing moments was when I got that call from Nicole and said, hey, congrats, here's your date and time. Isn't that cool? Who was I talking to the other day? I forgot this. I feel like you and I are watching our kids open their Christmas gifts, or they're running down the stairs Christmas morning and we're sitting there with our coffee because it's so cool. They don't know what they're about to receive. So I feel so good. When you call these people and say, hey, you're going to be doing this, is there some trepidation? Is there excitement? What do you usually get when you finally make that call? Like, you know what? You're up next.
It's a mixed bag.
It's a range.
Let's go back to Brent, who went to Colorado with us. Mm-hmm. When you have that opportunity to grow and expand and to learn about yourself and to heal, it can also be really scary, and there can be some resistance there. Mm-hmm. You get the call and it's...
oh boy.
Oh no.
I'm doing this.
Yeah. No. And there was a lot of resistance with him. No, I'm this, you're calling now and
That's right. He's like, oh, well, no, right. Now I'm busy.
But in his mind, he was saying how he's thinking, oh, there's someone else that needs it more than me. And
correct.
And how somehow we create these excuses for healing.
Yeah.
But,
exactly.
Yeah. Everyone's different.
Everybody's different.
Yeah. I have resistance. I have excitement. There's nervousness. There are tears and.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. What a cool thing you get to do. Okay. So 3 calls, 4 calls, 5 calls. It depends. Out there on the medicine, I told you out in Colorado, you literally look like an angel. The way you were backlit from the moon and the fire and taking care of all of us was pretty damn cool. So on site, you really are in your element. You are a fox. You are taking care of your den there, and it's so powerful to watch you in action. Let's fast forward. Talk about integration. What's a typical integration look after somebody sits with the medicine?
So we want to talk about the journey. What exactly started to show up what showed up for them, but then even more importantly, what feelings showed up. Not so much being attached to the faces mm-hmm. or the particular thing
experience
or the experience, but the feeling of it to mm-hmm. get to the heart of it. And then from there, how are you feeling about that now? Because we can even have a different feeling that experienced during the ceremony. And then afterwards we can look back and understand that mm-hmm. from an even deeper level. So mm-hmm. Unpacking the journey, not just what took place in the journey, but also physically what's going on with your body. Mm-hmm. How are you doing now?
Yeah. How many?
Mentally, physically, spiritually.
3 calls-ish?
At least 3.
Yeah.
And
a couple weeks apart.
Sometimes more. Yeah. I mean, but it doesn't just end there.
No, we're buddies with everybody.
One of the things that I'm loving right now, and I'm really aware of how small we are still. And so we're all still there. We still get to have these calls. Yeah. So they're ongoing. I mean, mm-hmm. a year later, I'm still having calls with people here and there. Mm-hmm. So
I love that.
I don't know how long I'll always be able to do that, but I'm appreciating that right now. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Challenges last year. Anything to people who are listening? Any others that we have to talk about? I know you talked about the intake form. I'm talking medicine wise or anything. If somebody's interested in sitting with the medicine this year, what's some good advice? What would you say? Hey, I recommend this.
I recommend that first you get honest with yourself. Are you wanting to learn more about yourself and to really, truly get to the truth of these patterns, these habits, these fears, these traumas, the pain that you're going through? Do you really want to heal?
Yeah.
Because we can like the idea of it, but it's not always the most comfortable.
Yeah.
And so if you're not ready to prepare yourself and to step fully in, sometimes these ceremonies could do more harm. Working with the plant medicine can hurt you more than help you if you don't prepare yourself for that. So ask yourself those questions first and notice how resistant you are. If there's any resistance to even getting a journal or just sitting for 5 minutes and breathing.
Yeah.
If you will not do that, there's something there, and dive a little deeper. But there are different methods we can still dive into to prepare ourselves, but just notice where there's resistance, and it's not for everyone. It's
Correct.
not,
So I'll lead with an other for last year. For me, and I'm my own worst critic. You know me. I will never allow somebody else to be harder on me than me. I feel like a fraud, and I know that's a tough word. So the medicine, and here's what's interesting. What was her name? Claudine Gay, the lady that runs Harvard. Horrible testimony in front of the House committee, is calling for the entire extermination of a race, whatever speech on Harvard. Well, it depends on the context. 24 hours later, she had to clean it up, and she released a statement that said, I did a poor job of explaining my truth or something like that. Here's why I bring this up. There is no my truth. There's not your truth. There's not our truth. There's only truth, right? So I want to share with people how kind of my year went or how I am right now. Because I never want to give the impression that it's all sunshine and lollipops, right? These medicines are an incredible disinfectant. And at least for me in this medicine work, there's only truth. It's revealed truth to me. And truth isn't necessarily going to be sunshine and lollipops. It just is. It's truth, right? But in a world of separation, in a world of ego, truth can kind of weigh you down or make you feel shitty, right? So I've been kind of going through a little bit of lows because I believe the medicine showed me truth in so many areas. And I'm not necessarily living that truth, right? So that's why I think I'm a fraud. And I don't mean that. I need to be nicer with myself when I talk like this, but I don't. I don't. I just feel I need to do a better job of aligning to the truth. And I think that's why I'm kind of in a rut right now, is because I'm not doing that. And I want to do. So it's all, so that's kind of a debrief of me for 23, but for 24, I want to live that a little bit more, because when I'm not living aligned with my truth, I'm not in alignment, right? You know what I'm saying. Does that make sense to you? So this big disinfectant, kind of gave me a clean kitchen, so to speak. And I feel like I just fucking trashed the kitchen, and I feel that guilt. Right. And as an aviator, it's unfortunately, the guy passed. John F. Kennedy Jr., right? Flying at night in a milk bowl haze. He got into it like it was a death spiral. And I feel like that sometimes. Now, the good thing about this is that the medicine gave me the ability to, if I do get into a death spiral, to kind of get out of the airplane and look at it. And old me, I would have spiraled right into the ground with bad stuff, with drugs, alcohol, bad behavior. So thank God that's not happening. But I need to do a better job this year of aligning to my truth. So I wanted to share that with everybody because I don't ever want this to come off like it's fucking sunshine, lollipops. I'm healed. This is a journey. And there are some, I got my bad days. And the bad days, 99.9% of the time are when I'm not living to my truth. So I wanted to hit you with this and not brief you about this. So first of all, am I out on an island on my own, or do you, when you're working with our folks, is this a common theme, or am I fucked up?
You are not fucked up. But what I want to say is that what I see with you is so much expansion. We're not meant to just keep expanding. I see retraction.
Yeah.
And then expansion. Retraction, expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And how would God see you?
I think sometimes...
How would God see you, Matthew?
I think God sometimes is hauling ass down my neighborhood street, and I'm the squirrel. And he's like, get out of the way, or I don't want to hit you, or what the fuck are you doing? I'm the squirrel. That's how God sees me.
Oh my God.
What are you doing?
I see so much growth and expansion with you, and you have such a big heart. You are doing amazing
I appreciate that
work, and you're so hard on yourself. But when you have those moments, I mean, how would God see you? How would God see you when you have issues with other people around you? How would God see them?
Yeah. Those are all good points. I need to do a better job at that. I think one of the things I need to focus on too, I love my Daniel Carcillo. You know that. I love
We
Commodore.
Love Daniel.
I love my Daniel. He turned me on to My Morning Jacket.
Oh yeah, that's good.
The more you give, the more you get. Tell it to the world, right? So I've been doing that a lot, and I've been doing a lot of giving. I'm going to dig into this here because I actually tried to reflect on this. Not that I'm turning into the Buddha, but expectation is the root of suffering, right? So my ego still believes in getting something in return. I need to do a better job of loving or giving for the sake of giving.
Non-attachment,
not expecting anything in return. Because I'm kind of running on empty, right? I don't think he can give from an empty tank. I'm the guy that sits on this fucking podcast and goes, what's the flight attendant tell you? Put your mask on yourself first if we lose pressurization because you're no good to anybody else. And I'm not listening to me. And I need to do a better job of listening to me. I'm at bingo fuel, right? When you ran low on fuel in the F-18, it said bingo. And you want to talk total tangent. You want to talk about some funny shit, Nicole?
Of course.
In the early 80s or mid 80s, when the F-18 was coming out, they wanted to have oral cautions, right, in your headset. And there was this she became a little old lady. I think she passed away recently, but it was a lady at McDonnell Douglas who they're like, hey, come here and speak in this microphone. And she recorded all the voice tones. Bingo, bingo, engine fire right. They actually did a study that, since it was mostly male fighter pilots at the time, we've changed, that they listened to a female voice. right? So if she's like, bingo, you're like, that chick just said I'm at bingo fuel. I better do something about it. But what's funny now in airliners, if you've ever been boarding and you hear the pilots going through their stuff, it's a dude's voice. I'd be like, fuck you. I'm not listening to you. I'm not at bingo fuel. But isn't that funny? They changed the voice from a woman because they studied that men would say, oh shit, what's wrong with my jet? But now it's a dude. So now I'd be like, fuck you. I'm not at low fuel.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting? They changed it from a female voice to a male voice because we don't want to be sexist or anything like that. I have no idea what the fuck I was. Oh no, it's bingo fuel. If you fly below your bingo fuel, you can flame out and crash. So I need to do a better job this year of taking care of my aircraft. Old me, that sounds selfish. Like taking time to focus on me. I got to be honest, still sounds a little selfish, but I know that I can't keep giving from an empty basket, an empty tank. Does that make sense?
Of course it does.
So I need to, that's my other for last year. Cause I feel, and our brother Bart, I love my Bart. He talked about when we went to Mexico and did the ibogaine and the 5-MeO DMT, the masks, that big thing kept taking off Bart's masks and putting them into the fire. And that's why I feel a little bit sometimes as a fraud, because I have this appearance that everything's fucking fantastic and great. And it always isn't, right? So that I just wanted to share a little bit of this. If you ever look at me like this dude's got it all going on, I'm depriving a village somewhere of an idiot. So just know that this medicine work reveals truth, and truth is just truth. It ain't good, it ain't bad. But how you experience it based on what you're coming into can be uncomfortable. Right. So that's why I wanted to bring this up to you to get your reaction. Because I have an internal struggle when I'm not living my truth, and it sucks. And I just wanted to let people know that, because this is why it's called work, right? It's not called easy. We don't get back from a medicine retreat like, yay, everything's just fantastic. It's work, right? And we have to put in the work. So I have work to do on myself, and I'm going to do it this year. And we got a lot of stuff coming up this year, don't we?
We do. I want to address that though. Your pain, can you see how your pain inspires you in some way?
It pisses me off.
Yeah.
I get upset at myself.
When we're sitting with the pain though, even if it's you could intellectualize it even. What does this pain feel like? What am I thinking about? What is it I don't want? What do I hate in this moment right now? And what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want to feel? What do you want to change?
It's good, right? I'm thankful for my suffering. Let's get that out of the way. And I know the kind of ruts, they always pass, just like all the highs always pass. Enjoy the highs while they last, because they ain't gonna. Mm-hmm. Get through the lows, because they're not gonna last. I hope, but. And I'm thankful for the medicine, because old me, now I don't hit the bottle. Now I don't, but it does lead to a little bit of a hermit existence, to be honest with you. Like, I don't really go out that much anymore, because it's kind of, I'm not going to say fake. It just, I long for truer things. That makes sense. More authentic things. I can't, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I'm like, everybody's wearing a mask. I just admitted that I gotta do a better job of of taking mine off, so to speak. But I need a little hermit mode every once in a while to realign. I think
to me, hermit mode almost sounds a little negative. Like I go into hermit mode. Well, what if it's just a different existence? You don't need to be out, whatever it was, spending time with big groups of people all of the time. That even takes us to some of the pain that people experience. Correct. Or that you experience. Is this mine? Does this even belong to me? We're these sponges absorbing all of these emotions around us at times. Mm-hmm. So that's even a good question to ask. Does this belong to me?
Yeah.
And you can often feel inside of you, whoa, I don't know. Or yeah, this is not mine. Return to sender with consciousness and love attached. With love,
there you go. Yeah. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be a hermit mode. How about just nature mode?
Yeah. Yeah. I need to do a better job at that. We need to do a better job, or you do this already. So I'm not going to say we, I need to focus on our mission. Mouth guard in, chin strap on. Let's do our work. I don't need to be involved in soap operas, drama, because that, then the mask, there's a different mask that Whiz is going to fucking pop on, and I don't like it. I feel true to me and most authentic when I'm not dealing with any of that crap. So help me do a better job at that. And I know you do.
It's all smoke and mirrors, just pulling you away from the present moment.
It is, isn't it?
Right. I
need to get back to doing that too. So I wanted to talk about all of that as an other for me, because I really did, I kind of looked at all the podcasts we did this year, all the stuff we did from these retreats and the psychedelic side, all the good. I'm like, it ain't all good, and that's okay. There are some, I'm going to call them others. They're not bads. These are just others that things we got to work through. So again, folks, the medicine work, and I'm not going to be judgmental, but I think you've called people before and they've kind of like, or they don't answer. There's a conflict. Is there a little apprehension to people? I might not like what I see. They might not.
Well, yeah. And some people decide when they actually get the call, no.
Yeah.
No. So Not everyone answers the call.
Yeah. Very creative. Not me. I'm the first, you guys know, and gals know, the first time I did the medicine, it was with kind of short. Here's what, so we're going to take a trip down memory lane.
Uh-oh.
Buckle up, Buttercup. I walked down the street in Fort Lauderdale in running shorts. I don't think I've owned running shorts in the past 4 years, but I did back then, my workout shorts and my running shoes. And I walked in a yoga joint in downtown Fort Lauderdale. Girls at the desk folding towels, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Oh, yeah, your first time? And then, boom, there's Miss Nicole Fox, my first yoga instructor. I've worked out with Navy SEALs. I was a fighter pilot. I'm fucking good shape. I about dropped dead at the 23-minute point. Like, I'll be damned if I'm going to not be able to. So you and I, you were my first teacher. And then you and I hit it off. And you're like, well, you're getting better at yoga. You do breath work or meditation, right? I'm like, what the fuck is meditation? I couldn't sit still for 3 seconds. And you took me to a mindfulness retreat up in Delray. So we went from...
Thank you, Matt Cardone.
I went from hot yoga to mindfulness. And here's why I'm going down memory lane, because this is some funny shit, folks. So I remember sitting with you and I'm like, hey, going to go down to Mexico and do some psychedelics with some Navy SEALs. And you're like, oh, really? It's, I said, it's ibogaine and 5-MeO DMT. And this worried the shit out of me because you looked at me and said, I've kind of done every psychedelic on the face of the planet, and I have no idea what you're talking about. That absolutely terrified me. And I'm like, wait, what? You don't know what I'm going to do? And you're like, oh, yeah, it should be fine. And off I went.
Enter scene, Iboga. Yeah. That's where both of our journeys began.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I came back. You're like, oh, my God, what is this stuff? And then you went awaken, right? Awaken your soul.
Yeah.
I bring this up.
Well, I went to Ambio and I did ibogaine.
Yeah.
With Trevor Mylar.
That's right. I forgot about
Dickinson,
that. Yeah.
Jose. And then I went to Awaken.
Yeah.
With Amber and Anthony.
That's right.
Yeah. Because I wanted to do the full root bark Iboga after doing
That's
ibogaine.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I wish you could see yourself through my eyes. This journey that you've been on. I have watched you evolve and grow and expand. And I know the people listening have most of the people, you have all of your TGO family. Yeah. I mean, they've watched your journey unfold and felt it, not just seen it, but it's palpable too. Oh. So thank you for always showing up in whatever, in all of your humanity and in every way, whatever that is, you just show up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, right back at you. Thank you for saying yes to lunch. I asked Nicole, I'm like, would you like to grab some lunch? And then and here we are. You're our director of medicine operations and helping save and change so many people's lives, man. It doesn't get any more, help. When if I don't go on a retreat or if we give somebody a grant, getting a text message, Whiz, I don't want to kill myself anymore. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me that this, I just... Well, you know me before the medicine. There's no way in hell I think we'd be sitting on a podcast right now talking about how we've helped save and change people's lives. That right in there, folks, is a lesson, man. The journey is just so beautiful. This is I could not be more humbled by the work we do. It's so cool, isn't it? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of you all. Who are thinking about stepping into the medicine, have stepped into the medicine. We were just walking into the studio. I got a voicemail from our boy Chicken, who's putting a ladder down. Brent, all these people. I call it the world's greatest Ponzi scheme, man. You get in, you heal yourself, and you come home, and you're like, man, I have got to spread the word. I've got to put the ladder down to help other people heal. And wouldn't the world be a better place if this happened? It is happening. I hope it's in time to pull us out of this nosedive, man. Do you feel it? Do you feel a shift? Do you?
I feel it. And I love how our men and women of service, it's just they are inherently of service. It's just in your nature to be of service. So you're healing yourself and you're putting the ladder down.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to put the mask on yourself first, folks, and that's what we need to do. What else do we have to talk about? Do you have your little checklist there? Did we cover everything on Nicole's debrief sheet? Anything that I'm missing that we need to cover?
I think we covered pretty much everything. Yeah. Thank you.
Good. Everybody's good. Boys good.
You're such a great pilot. Thank you.
You're a good goose. Going to see Michael. Going to play some lacrosse.
Yeah.
How's he doing?
He's doing great.
Yeah.
Their first 2 home games.
Yeah.
So excited to go see him play. It's going to be cold though.
It's
29 degrees in Birmingham.
Oh my God, man. The state of Florida has all 4 seasons. The Panhandle this morning, like Pensacola was 19. And it's like it's 70s down here in Muggy. So as we go up the state, it's like It's our own little America in here. So you have your Maverick Mind hoodie. Oh, that's some other good stuff that we have on the radar for this year. First of all, hopefully by Q3, MDMA is legal for therapeutic use. Rick Doblin, MAPS, they changed the name, they merged, they got investors. It's called Lycos. But Rick Doblin, man, we both met Rick. I spent time in D.C. with Rick, meeting with lawmakers. What a great soul. 30 years this guy's been at this. 30 years. So 2024, folks, is going to be a big year for healing. MDMA legal for therapeutic use, hand to God, hopefully sometime this year. We got Cody, Daniel, Joe Caltabiano, and the Healing Realty Trust. We got microdoses and our Maverick Mind products. And we also have Oregon New Growth is Daniel's company. They're looking to open a couple of healing clinics out in Oregon. And Daniel and the investors, a lot of the TGO folks are investors, we're going to be able to take our men and women there to do their healing. And it'll be
excited for that.
Full scholarships and stuff like that. So we got to get you on a plane to go out there and,
can't wait.
Omni and do all that stuff. It's great that Rosie's out there. She's kind of our West Coast No Fallen Heroes agent. So we're going to be doing that stuff. And what else do we have coming up? Harvard. Of course, leave it to me. Harvard's reputation is now like a little tarnished. And then I'm going to Harvard in June to a conference. So Melissa and I from the Psychedelic Medicine Coalition, she's doing all the work. We are writing a paper.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa. We're writing a paper that's going to be published on veterans and psychedelics and all sorts of stuff like that. It's going to be published in some like Harvard something. So, Dad, if you are seeing this, I'm going to Harvard and I'm getting published in something. So that's going to be going on. You and I are knocking out our retreat schedule. So we'll have a little bit more to come.
Oh, we have some really good stuff.
Big stuff.
Yeah.
Big stuff.
Can I just say, I am so honored, happy, excited about the amazing people we're being aligned with.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This year is going to be a seminal year. It's going to be an absolutely good year. Every year is a good year, but this one feels,
it keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Better. What's next?
Yeah. This one does have a good feeling of something. I'm starting in a little bit of a funk. I recognize that. I recognize I have work to do on myself, but I thank God for the medicines showing me that I don't have to. I know it's a funk. And I know that there's light on the other side of it, as opposed to old me. It wouldn't be pretty. So thank you, God, for this opportunity to do all of this stuff. What else do we have?
To dig a little deeper. That's what you're doing. You're digging a little deeper. What's next? A little deeper.
How deep? How deep is your love? Yeah. How God? How? Well, it's a famous Miss Kelly Nicole Fox saying. There's always another layer, right? There's always more layers.
There are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working on peeling them away. If anybody sees me wearing a mask, call me out on that shit, man. I mean, I don't think it's overly whatever, but I just want people to know that it's not all sunshine and lollipops all the time.
I don't think of it as you wearing a mask when you feel like you're wearing a mask. Not everyone needs to know what we're going through at every minute of the day. Some things we do, it helps us to just move through it. We don't need to tell it.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs to hear
True.
about everything going on with us. Not everyone can hold space for that. Not everyone is meant to.
Some people might celebrate it.
Yeah.
too, So I just mean wearing a mask. Like I don't want to make it seem like it's all unicorns.
You're so hard on yourself, but yeah. I understand.
I need to do a better job at some compassion and empathy. When I got back from doing the medicine the first time, I felt good about that. I could forgive myself a little bit more. I did look at that little towhead kid from the Jersey Shore, and so sometimes I get away from that, and I need to knock the rust off and come back to, dude, you're, a little bit more self-compassion, and I'll pull myself out of the dive.
I see it as you're getting ready to step into some very big things that I'll be excited to discuss soon. But
don't scare me, young lady.
No, but you know, and you can't commit to things like this without diving deep into yourself a little bit more. And it's the moment you're going to start to get poked and prodded and pushed a little bit, shaken up just a little bit more. What else is in there?
Oh boy. So exactly. That's one of the funnier things, man. Who was I telling the other day about when we went to Mexico that one time? It was about a year after my first ibogaine experience, and sitting with the medicine again. And instead of buzzing, right? Like the first ibogaine, it's going to be like bees. I'm like, that makes no sense. And then I'm vibrating, eye shades up. Am I shaking? Nope. I was just tuning in. My entire body got tuned in, just like an old TV. We're old enough to remember this, like and then whoop, I was gone. Second time, man, it started with God shaking my head. And I'm like, I ain't liking this. This kind of, and I noticed the shit was falling out of my head that was not serving me. And it wasn't enjoyable. So what did I do? I lied to God. I'm like, oh, you got everything. It's everything's clear. And God kind of looked at me like, dude, did you just try to lie to me? And then I shook even more and faster, and the crap flew out. So I think this year is going to be a big year of crap flying out. So this time, young lady, next January, we'll come back for my God, 2024 debrief. God willing, we're here, we're healthy, we're safe. I trust the universe. I trust God. I trust you. Again, thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
You are, we're a good team. This is pretty good, right? Yeah. Wonder Twin powers activate. All right. Big year ahead. Head to nofallenheroes.com. Over on the right, it says contact us, sponsorship intake form. Nicole, as she alluded to, she's going to change puppy and make the word small dog and kind of make some changes to the intake request form. And if the medicine, if this interests you at all, it's calling to you. If it ain't, it ain't. I can't be any more clear than that. It's a ridiculous statement until you've done the medicine, and then it makes sense. The medicine calls to you. If it isn't, it isn't. If the phone's ringing a little bit, pick it up. You don't have to talk long. You don't have to commit to anything. Just look at it. And then we're going to do a good job of, if you are on our wait list, giving you a little bit of homework to do. Whether it's some yoga, some breath work, some reading, some podcast, some nature. Yeah.
Get outside.
Nicole's going to give you a little bit of homework to do to get you up to speed as you're on the waiting list. I remember being stationed at Naval Air Station Key West in 1991 as a young ensign because I had an 8-month wait to go to Pensacola to start Navy flight training. And I remember I called up to Naval Air Station Pensacola, and I called the little old lady who's in charge of all the books you get on day one. Literally, it's like 6 foot tall stack of books. And I'm like, can I get those early? Can I? And little old 21, 22-year-old Edward Matthew Buckley, ensign, I studied that shit, man, for 8 months. Before I showed up to flight training on day one, I had that shit. So we're good. I strongly recommend you do the same thing. As Nicole can attest to, we treat these as like a combat mission. This is serious work. This is not, hey, we're going to just kind of go do something like that. So I strongly recommend, if you're interested in this stuff, do some work. Maybe some Dr. Joe Dispenza, some
good stuff.
get on YouTube, look up Brian Murescu and the Immortality Key. Do some good. You got any other good reading or?
Well, so when I was preparing for my Iboga journey, definitely Awaken Your Soul, Amber and Anthony, they have so much. It was all of their information that they offered, YouTube videos. Also, there are several podcasts with Trisha Eastman, Dr.
Right.
Joseph Barsuglia, all these great people that just have a wealth of information to help prepare you.
Good.
Even Jeremy Widman. Yep. If you want to learn about
Troy.
Troy Valencia. Yep. We're going to have him on again.
Absolutely.
Soon. Yeah.
We're going to be seeing him this year as well. All right. You did great. You feel good?
Feeling good. Thank you.
Let's go get some sushi at the beach. All right, folks. That's our beautiful Nicole Fox. Beautiful soul, beautiful body, beautiful everything. She's doing the Lord's work and putting the ladder down and helping to heal our heroes and healing our heroes at home. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you're hedged in this volatile market. Fights on. Namaste. And basi, basi, yow, yow. Whiz and Nicole out.